about is you don't need anyone's approval, right? You don't need anyone's approval to do what it is that God is calling you to do. Oftentimes, we try to seek approval from people, and let me tell you where that is coming from. When you're looking for someone to approve and validate you, that just means that you still have some unhealed, unresolved issues that you have experienced in your childhood. So you need to get those issues resolved. You really need to find out what it is. Maybe you haven't been approved or validated or told that you were doing a good job. Maybe your parents never validated you, so that's why you're always looking for people's permission and people's okay to tell you you're doing great or tell you that you can do something. You're always looking for permission to do something. And the reason I know, because I used to be like that. But until I start dealing with myself, hey Joanne, until I start dealing with myself, I realized and that's why it's so good to reflect. It's so good to reflect and sit down and see, like, look at your behaviors. Try to look at why you did certain things or why you do certain things, right? Reflection is good. The enemy's best weapon to us nowadays is keeping us distracted with entertainment, keeping us distracted with people, keeping us distracted with bills, keeping us distracted with social media, everything to keep us distracted to where we can't get in a quiet place and where we can't sit down and reflect on our lives. We just go, 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 go. We never sit down, slow down, and reflect and look at what took place throughout our day. What happened in this relationship? What happened in this interaction, right? He never wants us to sit down and look at things that are happening around us. That's why he wants to keep us busy. But anyways, I want to get back to my point because I get off on a tangent here. That's the reason why you're always looking for permission. One thing that I've learned is in my season of healing and growth and season of just dealing with myself, I used to always seek permission from like family members, from my spouse at the time, from my friends. I always was looking for somebody to give me permission to do what it is that God told me to do. Right? If God told me to do it, I don't need anyone's permission. If God told me to say it, I need to be saying it. I don't need to seek anyone's approval. I don't need to seek anyone's validation. If God told me to create it, right? If he told me to create it, I'm going to create it. And that's the thing too. We have to stop telling people what we're doing. Whatever God has you working on, stop telling people. You don't have to tell people everything that you're doing. You don't have to tell people everything that you're working on. You don't have to keep people all in your business. And the reason you do that because you're looking for validation. You can operate and you can work quietly. You can build quietly. You can do what it is that God told you to do quietly. You don't have to let people know that, you have this creative gene. You don't have to let people know. When you finish and complete that thing, oh, they'll know. They're going to find out because it's for the world, right? It's for you to produce, to share with the world. You don't have to tell people, oh, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. I was notorious for that. And why I used to do that? I wanted validation. I wanted people to pat me on the back, and say, you doing a good job. I wanted people to tell me that, oh, that's a good idea. Oh, I'll do that. And you know what me telling people did? Brought hate, brought jealousy, brought envy, brought, people speaking against what it is that I was doing. And guess what? I had to learn to stop telling people, regardless if people mean well. It's okay. You don't have to tell your friends everything. You don't have to tell your children everything. You don't have to tell your spouse everything. You don't have to tell. And what I've learned, you don't have to tell people everything you got going through your head, everything you're working on, you don't have to tell people every single thing of your life. Yes, I know people may find you interesting, okay? Because I'm a very interesting person, okay? I must say so myself. I'm very interesting. Look, I can laugh at myself. I enjoy my own company. I'm okay with myself, okay? I know who I am. I'm very interesting, okay? And I know that. And people want to find out what you have going on, want to find out what working on. Sometimes you're just so excited, you want to tell people. No, sometimes it's good to build in silence. It's okay. It's okay to build in silence. It's okay to work on things behind the scenes. You don't have to spew out everything you're working on. You don't have to tell people every detail of your life, every project you're working on. What I've learned, I do more damage when I'm not telling people. I get I get I'm more clearer, you know. I'm more. I think you want to back up some so we can get out. You're way too. But yeah, sorry, I'm being nosy. I was telling my neighbor beside me he was too far up because I'm getting ready to leave anyways. But um, you don't have to tell people everything you're working on. You know, learn to work in silence. Learn to build in silence. Learn to do things in silence. It's okay. You don't have to keep people in the loop. And I used to, and like I said, I was notorious for that because I was always looking for praise. I was always looking for somebody to validate me. But once I started doing the healing work and dealing with my own traumas, I don't need anyone's permission. I don't need anybody's permission to say and do what it is I know I should be doing. I don't need their permission. I just need to create, get by myself and create and do what it is that I know I'm purposed to do. Right? Because we can sit, and if no one is validating us, we'll sit in that. We'll sit stuck waiting for somebody to say, oh, you're doing a good job. Oh, I like that. I like that. Or, you know, you should do this. Or, you know, we're just looking for someone to validate us because a lot of us never been validated. A lot of us never been affirmed. That's the word right there too. You never been affirmed by, you know, people who you know, who raised you or who love you, or I mean, who were supposed to love you, or whomever you wanted to affirm and validate you. Once I got over that and I dealt with myself in that area, oh, I create. Okay, I create. I don't tell people anything. I just do what it is I know I'm supposed to do. You know, I get in my secret place, see what God is telling me, see what my inner self is telling me to do, and I do it. I don't need anyone's permission. I don't need anyone's validation. I'm not seeking anyone's validation. Because my creativity, what you do, comes from within you. What that book God is telling you to write, it came from your experience. It came from your story. Whatever God is telling you to do, that business, you need to be working on that. Don't tell people. You know, I was reading this story about this young lady. You know, a lot of young people are so creative and they're tapped in. And I was reading this story about this girl. She was selling online products. She was selling digital products. She was very creative in what she was doing. And she had an entire business and she couldn't tell her parents. She couldn't tell her parents. This girl had a 6-figure business that she couldn't even tell her parents that she was doing that because they would be against. She knew her parents would be against of what she was doing. She had enough resources and money, right? She had enough resources and money to take care of her family, but she could not tell them because they would shun what she was doing. An entire 6-figure business, and this girl was a teenager, a young person, a teen. Couldn't even tell her parents what she was doing because of their mindset. You know, her parents had this old school mindset, and they wanted a certain life for her, but she wanted to create. It was a few years ago when I read this story, and I'm like, she can't even tell her parents that she's making all this money. She don't even know what to do. I wish I was able to sit there and knew who she was to guide her and try to help her. But she was making so much. It is not about money. But my point is, she used her creativity. She was using her creativity to create and build a business, right? To create and build a business, but she couldn't tell people. And that's how it is. You got all these resources in you, all these gifts in you, and you're thinking that you could tell people, your siblings, you think you could tell your mom, you think you could tell your husband, but people look at you like you're crazy because you're so excited about something. I did that before. I was so excited about creating my personal development and coaching business, and I used to tell certain people, and they'll look at me like, so Look at me like, and what you want me to do? Like the energy, right? The energy. And then that discouraged me because I was looking for validation at that time. But Lord, let me tell you, when I got past that, that was in 2019. When I got past that and I was continuing to, I continued to work on myself. Oh, I was like, I don't care if a person tell me they don't like the letter or inch, a period, a dot. I don't care, because I'm gonna work on what it is I know I feel I'm called to do. I want to do. I get energy when I'm working on certain things. You ever notice how much energy you get when you working on something well, let me tell you, no, this is how you know, right? Uh, this is how you know you should be working on something, or this is where your sweet spot is, regardless of what it is. Because see, we think creative, we think, let me see how to say this. We think that creativity is a cookie cutter way. There is only one way to create. There's only one way to build. Some people think that. Meaning, if what I'm doing working for me should work for you, if that makes sense. And that's not how it go. This is how you know you're in your sweet spot. And when you know that that gift will make room for you. When you find joy in it, when you can't when all you do is think about it, when you start operating in that thing and you just don't want to go to sleep. I was up the other night doing something and I didn't want to go to sleep. I didn't want to go to sleep up late night because I was working on something that just brought me joy. This is when you know you're working into that creative sweet spot. When you don't want to go to sleep, when you don't want to stop doing it, you want to stay up all night, all day. Okay? That's when you know you're in that sweet spot. You don't feel like you're working. It feels like it comes too easy. But when you see that final product, when you see the final result, you're like, wow, I did that. I created that. Yes, you created that. You did that. Right? You did that. So that's what I wanted to come encourage you all. You don't need anyone's permission. You do not need anyone's permission to be great. You don't need to tell people what you're working on. If one powerful lesson that I've learned over the years, even God had been dealing with me about this too. I've had several videos on my channel about the power of silence, the power of keeping things to yourself, the power of not talking and speaking about certain things that's going on in your life. And people often say that what is for you, what God has for you is for you, and that's true. That's why it's for you. You don't need to be telling everybody. You don't need to be telling everybody. And sometimes when we sit and want to tell people certain things, we're just looking for approval and validation. Because if God has something for you, you shouldn't be telling everybody. You don't have to tell everybody what you got going on until that thing has produced, until you have birthed that thing. When you have a newborn baby, you don't want everybody touching your baby. You don't want all the germs over your baby. When you have a newborn, you keep that baby wrapped up. You keep it covered until the baby immune system is strong enough to handle the world and all the toxins and germs. You keep that baby covered. So when you're working on something, you need to keep it covered by keeping your mouth closed. Okay? Stop talking so much. You don't have to tell people things. Even when people trying to ask you something, because people can sense that you're working on something. They can sense that you have things going on. And sometimes people will ask you, oh, what is this? What is that? What are you doing? You tell them, I'm working on something at the time, or it's none of your business. And especially it depends on the spirit that it comes in. You have to just, what they say, you have to check that spirit right there. You have to check it right there, because sometimes people just want to be nosy and see what you got going on. But you can tell them, I don't want to share that right now. Just be honest. And we have to stop being afraid of hurting people's feelings. When you're working on something, it's okay to say, I don't want to share that right now, or I'm not ready to share it, or I'm working on something that is just between me and God. You can tell people that. You can tell people that it's okay. It is okay. You can tell people that, right? You really can tell people. You don't have to. You're not obligated to give people an answer. I remember I was watching. That's when I used to watch a lot of TV, and I noticed when they used to go to certain celebrities and they used to ask them questions, pressing questions, and what I've learned about some of those celebrities, they used to answer. The people used to, the interviewer used to ask them a question, and they used to give an answer that's not even relevant to the question. They'll talk about the things that they're working on. They'll talk about, all of the charity events. They'll talk about something good. Not even giving the answer to the question. So my point is, you don't have to give an answer, right, to the person's question that they're asking. You don't have to answer that. It's okay. You could just be quiet sometimes. You don't have to. You could just look at them. I know it'll probably seem rude, but it depends on, the spirit in which they're coming. Hi, son. The spirit in which they're coming, right? So that's what I want to come talk to you all about. To let you know, you don't need anyone's permission. You can be great. This video should serve as confirmation. Go be great. Go build, and they will come. Okay? Create, and they will come. Do what it is that you have. Produce everything that you have in you. I was listening to Dr. Miles Monroe, and I think I heard Les Brown say this, and Dr. Miles Monroe. They both said the richest place on earth is the graveyard. Because in the graveyard, there are ideas, there are books, there are songs, there are blueprints. There is so much in that graveyard that people did not produce because they took it to the grave with them. There is music we will never hear. There is motivational speeches we will never hear because people took it to the grave out of fear, out of waiting to receive permission from people who ain't even doing nothing, from people who ain't never did nothing, from people who won't do nothing, from people who are scared to do something. And we sitting here waiting for permission. Okay. So I hope this message serve you all. I kind of like dropped a few bars at the end, right? I kind of dropped a few bars at the end. And look, you can't be afraid to just do what it is that you need to do. You can't be afraid, and you can't worry. And see, another thing too, let me go. I'm going to say this. Another thing, you can't worry about people judging you. You can't worry about people talking about you because they're doing that anyways. People who don't have anything to do in their life, guess what? They're sitting around talking about people who doing the most, okay? They're talking about people who are out there doing it. That's why you have people sitting around talking celebrity gossip. You got celebrity gossipers. People who sit around and talk about celebrities, they don't have anything to do with their life. They don't have anything going on because you're too focused on the celebrity. You're too focused on what they're doing. You should be doing something. A lot of people are making money off other people's creativity, other people's lifestyle. That's not being creative. You sitting here putting someone else down because of what they got going on. No. 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 So focus on creating. You don't need no one's permission. Stop seeking validation. If you always feel like you are looking for validation, you want your mom, your siblings, you want people to come and rally around you because you're doing good. You're doing something great. You want people to rally around you. Have you ever thought about the people who you want to rally around you don't understand what it is you're doing? You are the first to do it. You are the trailblazer. You are the one to do it, so they don't understand you. A lot of you all are trailblazers. You're the first to do it in your family. You're the first to break the generation curse. There is no blueprint. You are the blueprint. When God showed me I was the blueprint, I don't have nobody to look after. I don't have nobody to do who in my family who is doing what I'm doing and have done what it is that he called me to do. He said, you the blueprint. You are the blueprint. You're going to be the blueprint for those behind you. You are the blueprint. So it's going to be hard for you. It's going to be challenging for you. It's going to be difficult for you. You're going to have a lot of warfare. You're going to face a lot of challenges. You're going to have a lot of hate. But I built you for this, Monique. That's what the Lord told me. I built you for this. You've went through all of that training for a reason. All of the hell I've been through in my childhood, in my teen years, it was set up for appointed time right now. This is my appointed time. Right? This is my appointed time. All of that I went through was for this time. That's why I'm able to come on YouTube and encourage you all and share my story, share some of my experiences. This is the appointed time. I didn't go through all of that just for me. I went through all of that for my children, for other people, to see if she did it, if she didn't have all the resources, if she trusted in God, if she had stepped out and stood 10 toes down on her faith, right? I can do it. If she did it, I can do it. If she's country, if she on YouTube talking country, sounding country, bold in country, sounding, okay, hey Betsy, sounding and being herself, if she can do it, I can do it. If she's bold and confident in how she sounds, how she look, with makeup, without makeup, with locks, without locks, with all the imperfections, if she can do it, I can do it. Because see, one thing people will do when you're headed for greatness, they'll try to point out insecurities in you to make you retreat. And this is why you got to build up your spirit, man. You have to know who you are in God, because all of this natural stuff, it ain't nothing. But when that spirit is on fire, when that spirit is big, when that spirit is bold, when that spirit is confident, you can go anywhere. And you can look them spirits right in the face when they try to come for you, when they try to blame you, when they try to find occasion in you. When you got your spiritual lenses on, you can see where all that hate and all that insecurity coming from. You can see where it's coming from, and you can just look right over and keep going, because everything don't need to be addressed. You know, everything don't need to be addressed, because people dealing with their own insecurities. And when they see you shining so bright, oh, they want to come zap that light. They want to come dim that light. They want to tell you who you think you are. Like on Django, y'all saw Django, where he was riding on that horse, and the other black person say, who is that Negro on the nag? They want to say, who you think you is. That's not the word he said, but I'm going to clean it up. I ain't going to be using that word. He was like, who is that person on that nag? Basically saying, because of the times in the movie, basically saying, you ain't supposed to be up there. You supposed to be down here with us. You supposed to be down here with us. You aren't supposed to be up there on that nag. You supposed to be down here. Go look at that clip on Django. I don't know what made me bring that up, but I brought it up. But when you're confident and bold, nobody can stop you. Because when you see things by the spirit, you know how to ignore people, because the enemy will send people to try to stop you. He'll send people to try to block you. He'll send people to try to distract you. When you know who you are and you know where you're going, he'll use everything. He'll pull out his big boys. He'll pull out all the stops. He'll even send you somebody who's fine. Send you that nice looking lady, okay, with all the dimensions. Send you that nice looking man with all the dimensions, smelling good, looking good, when he want to distract you. And you got to be like, no, ma'am. I rebuke that. Like me and my friends said, we rebuke everything. Okay. When you know it's a distraction, you'll be able to rebuke it. Like, no, that's a distraction. Cause where were you when I wasn't working on stuff? Where you was when I wanted somebody like this? Where you been at? But that's what the enemy will do. He'll send anything and anybody to distract you. And you got to know that. You have to know. That's why your personal relationship with God has to be personal. Like I said in my other video yesterday, when you know it's personal, he's going to show you directly what you got going on. You know, he'll show you what you should be doing and what you shouldn't be doing based on what the struggles you have battled with. He surely will. But see, the enemy know your struggles. So he's going to send everything that you struggle with to distract you. Sometimes you may have to turn down a job. Sometimes you may have to turn down an offer that seems too good to be true. You got to turn it down. You won't have to turn it down because you know it's not aligned with where God is taking you. Every good idea is not a God idea. When you get your personal relationship, you're going to know that. Every good idea is not a God idea. Oh, it sounds good. It looks good. The money is good. But when you know that you know that you and God been working on certain things, you going to know, I can't take that job offer. Or you going to know, that's the job offer I need to take. Or you going to know, I can't go to that conference. Or you going to know, I need to go to that conference. But you're only going to know that by your personal relationship. Not by what somebody's saying is good for you. Right? Not what everybody is saying is good for you. Not looking at dollar signs. Right? You're not looking at dollar signs. Right? You can't be, you won't be able to do all that. You have to know what's good for you. And it takes time to get here. That's why I got this channel called Responsibility. We're always looking on how to improve ourselves. We're responsible for us. Right? Exactly. I really don't, Elsa. You know, like they say, all money ain't good money. All money ain't good money. Yes. Romans 8:20. Yes, 8:28. Yep. So, but yeah, so when you know, right? When you know that when you know that what you're doing is aligned with where God is taking you, right? When you know that, things will flow easy. One door will open. And see, one thing about God, y'all go look this up. He showed me this. Right? He showed me this. He showed me, is it the movie Indiana Jones? I want to say it's the movie Indiana Jones. You can go look this up on YouTube. Look up the clip Indiana Jones, Walk by Faith. Now, if I find it, and I should, I'll put it in the description of this video so you all can see. But what he showed me with that little one clip, I never saw the whole movie. I just so happened to see this clip and I got a revelation from it. And I probably did see the movie years ago, but I've forgotten, you know. But what he showed me in that movie, Indiana Jones, when he was trying to cross over this little, I guess he was trying to cross over from one area to the next, and there was nothing there. There was like a pit at the bottom, like a fall, you know, he can fall down. And I guess it was like this open space, but his faith had to be activated, right? That's the revelation I got. His faith had to be activated. And faith is believing even when you can't see it naturally. That's faith. Faith is not the opposite. The world tells us in order to believe it, we got to see it. But when you're operating in faith, you have to believe it, then you're going to see it. Right? So, but in the clip, he had to take the first step. And when he took the first step, the stairs appeared. There was a stairway, but it was invisible. Okay? So someone need to go check out Hebrews 11:1. So y'all need to work on y'all faith. You need to ask God to get your faith up. Right? So, So he had to make a first step, and then the stair appeared, right? That stair appeared when he moved, when he took, because people don't understand, faith is an action word, okay? Faith is action. You got to do something to have faith. It's not just, I got faith. No, you got to do something. You have to do something. You have to believe. You have to get in your spirit to believe. So go check out that clip. I didn't come this long. Okay, I didn't come to stay this long, but I'm glad I got this message out. You don't need anyone's permission. You have all you need to do what it is you need to do. And if you are afraid, you need to ask God to show you why are you so afraid, and you need to deal with that. Okay? And the only way you're going to deal with that if you get a personal relationship with God. Okay? All this other stuff is what they say, all this other stuff is trash. And I'm not talking about religion. You got to get you a personal relationship. Then you'll be able to overcome faith. Even his word says faith comes by hearing and hearing and hearing and hearing by the word of God. So if you're fearful and you don't want to do what it is, some of you are, and now let me tell you, and I don't know why I'm keep going. I don't know why I keep going, because I was getting ready to go. But now with technology, you don't have an excuse. We had so many excuses before. Oh, I don't know where to go. I don't know what to do. I don't know who to help. I don't know who can help me. With technology has just removed the middleman. Technology has moved the middleman, which means you don't need a publisher to publish your book. You don't need a producer to write your song. You don't need all this stuff we say we need it. We don't need this. Technology has removed the middleman. So you don't have an excuse anymore. Your excuses are just, if you got an excuse at this point, you're just being lazy or you're operating out of fear. And that's something you got to uproot, because it's probably generational. We don't have no excuses anymore. I'm talking to myself too. I'm talking to myself too. Yes. No, you need other people. Yeah, and you're right. I'm not saying you don't need other people, because that's why I'm here. I'm one of those people, right? But what I'm saying is there's no excuse, which means you don't need someone to tell you to sing that song, because you can get on YouTube right now, turn on your camera and sing your song. You can produce your song yourself, but if you don't know how to do it, yes, you need someone else to show you. That's why it's good to invest in other people. It's good to invest in other people who are doing things you want to do, and stop being afraid, because that's what it's about. It's about the reproduction. It's about people walking into their purpose to help other people. That's why I'm here. Just a girl. I'm here because I know I'm called to help other people. I know my messages are called to help other people. I'm called to help other people heal. I'm called to help other people overcome, strongholds. Show them. I can see things. I can see spiritually what people are dealing with. And mostly it's generational. So I'm here to shed light on that. I'm here to tell them this is what you have to do. You have to uproot this. You have to pray. You have to fast. You have to do this, that, and the other. So we need people. Yes. Yes, we need people, no doubt. And see, that's another thing. I'm not one of those people who just a lone ranger. No, I know that's the reason God put us here. We're supposed to be in community. We're supposed to be blessing one another. My gift to help you open your gift. Your gift is going to help you open someone else's gift. And we all just helping each other. It's a cycle. We're all supposed to be helping each other in our own way. No one has my DNA. No one has my fingerprints. So no one can do what it is that I do. We can have the same name. We can have the same blueprint. We can have the same everything. We can look alike, dress alike, talk alike. But no one is going to do me how I do me. And once we overcome that scarcity mindset, thinking someone could steal our idea, thinking someone could steal certain things from us, once we realize you're like my coach Latoya Kill say, your blueprint, your fingerprint is your blueprint. Your fingerprint is your blueprint. Because my experience, what I've been through, is different from what you've been through. My upbringing was different from yours. I see the world differently from you see it, what you see. We got over 1 billion people in this world, and we all see this world differently. Some people see the world as negative. Some people see the world as crazy. Some people see the world as a blessing. Some people see the world as abundance. Everybody sees the world different, depending on what you've gone through. Right? Right? Exactly. It's already doing it. So we better we better get to work and working on what God has created us to do. Work on what God has created us to do. And produce and generate what it is that God has created us to generate. And you can't be afraid of people, copying you and doing what you do. You can't be afraid of that. You can't be afraid because you live in fear. Fear will paralyze you and keep you from doing. Fear will paralyze you and keep you from doing what it is you need to be doing. Exactly. Some people see the world as an illusion. Some people see the world like the Truman Show. Y'all saw the Truman Show with with what's his name? What is the man named Jim Carrey? You know, a lot of the stuff isn't real in the world. A lot of the stuff is just an illusion, or a lot of the stuff is just, like just systematic. Yes, Jim Carrey, systematic, fake. It all depends. Everybody sees it different. But your job is to make the best of it. Your job is to do something while you're here. You want to make your dash count. Whatever you do, you want to do it well. You want to do it well. Right? So I hope this message encouraged you all. Right? I just came from getting my toes done. I had to take the gel polish off my toes and let my toes breathe. But I hope this message encouraged you all. I was just filled up with so many messages sitting there getting my feet done. And I have another one that I'm going to do, but I hope this one encouraged you. I hope this one encouraged you, lit some fire up underneath you. Okay. To encourage you, light fire up under you, and to get you moving. Go and create. Go do what it is that you're called to do. Go create what it is that make you happy. That's going to help someone else. You will know that it's something that you should be doing because it's going to solve someone else's problems. Your creativity is going to solve someone else's problems. It can be music that inspires. See, I don't want to keep going because I could keep going and going and going, but I don't want to keep doing that. But you all be blessed. Go create. You don't need anyone's permission. Do what it is that, God has called you to do. We all have gifts. You just need to stop being distracted, cut off the TV, get in that quiet place and work. Build, create, and work. Be blessed.